Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about a national day. Well, not necessarily. I think it should be, but I'm going to call it that anyway. So, July 20th, 1969 was a very, very important day. And it's a day that a lot of people that are older will still talk about. Like, where were you when you heard that they landed on the moon? Where were you when this happened? And this is one of those dates. So, let's talk about this. On that day, July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin climbed out of the capsule and landed on the surface of the moon, and it was huge. It was national news. I think everybody on the planet was stuck to their TV that day to get information about what they were doing, what they were saying, even if the words were like all, cut up and, buzzy and fizzy and all that kind of stuff. Like everybody was attached to the TV to see these black and white pictures coming from the moon. I want to explain it to you from the psychic side of it. So I get asked questions like, did they really land on the moon? Yes, they really did land on the moon. It was a real thing. They went there, they landed on the moon. But I will tell you that I also see several entities watching them, not only from space, at a short pace away, I'm saying, like I would say less than a couple of miles or so. I can see a couple of spaceships there, and then I can see some further off in the distance that may have looked like stars to them, but they weren't that far away, but they were far enough where they were not like really terribly visible. And I get that the aliens were watching everything they did, every rock that they pick up, when they place the flag in, when they're walking around. It was just kind of like, just like us. They were like glued to what they were watching. And energetically, it's a really amazing day because it was kind of like our, step into adulthood of being kind of like a cosmic energy in the universe. So I will tell you that I saw many images of this over my lifetime, and I will tell you every time I do, I see aliens part of it. I see aliens part of it. I also see aliens on the moon itself. So I get asked that a lot. Are there aliens on the moon? And I always say, I always see them there. I know not always do we see evidence of that, but I always have. And it's one of those, and I can also feel their energy really close by at many different times. So I think that's really important for people to understand that they are really watching us. They are really around us and are really interested. I also think it's kind of like an interesting thing that not too long ago, the United States government kind of opened up their books and kind of like, here are the UFO files. This is what we've learned, or this is what we know, or the videos that we've seen, or the reports that we've gotten. But a lot of other countries are doing the same thing, kind of like, let's just let it out there. And I also get that part of that is kind of like, it's time to let it out. It's time to let this information out. But I also get in kind of like an interesting way that it's one of those, like it's a cover up for something else. Like they're kind of like, here, let's dangle the candle of candy over here, and let's really talk about what we want over here. So kind of like, let's kind of divert everybody else, like a child, like look over here, what we're doing. But there's some diversion over here, and that will eventually come out. If it hasn't already reached out by now, it will be coming out really soon, and more information is going to be coming forward, not only about aliens and the moon landings and that sort of thing, but there's going to be much more information. So let's pull a couple of angel cards and see what our angels and guides can give us as different information on this. Harmony. One of the things that I have always gotten with aliens, and people ask me, like, I know someone who was abducted by aliens, and they went far away, or they were done for experiments. It's one of those, I always get that 99.9% of the aliens are there to kind of like figure us out, kind of decide like what can they do to help us, or what can they do to give us guidance. And it's kind of like almost like a teacher, like where they're trying to teach us something. And I don't ever get necessarily afraid of them. Some of them look a little scary. I'm not into lizards or anything else, but it's one of those, they are always there and around to kind of keep an eye on us. And I always think of it as more as like a parent than anything else. This is the next card, and then the other one just popped out. Celebration. This is a great time to be celebrating. It's one of those, it is amazing that the United States government has like let this information out. They should have let it out a long time ago by their own rules and regulations on it, but it's great that they've let it out, and other countries are doing as well. So it's interesting to look at this, but also kind of keep that deeper eye of what's coming around us, and kind of keeping an eye on what's going on. Nature. It is always in our nature to kind of want to explore. We have been explorers for our whole time that we've been on Earth, always exploring in a cave, under the water, to the top of a mountain, wherever it is. We are explorers. We're kind of like natural explorers, and always trying to figure out or give ourselves an answer for something. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're really drawn to the moon itself. It's like it's always there. But one of the things that I've always thought was really interesting is that we only get to see one side of it. Interesting, huh? It's almost like a magnetic dance between Earth and the moon. So we only see one side of the moon. We never see the back side of the moon. Now, I know on several occasions prior to Apollo 11 that several of the space missions, I think it was 3, kind of went around the moon, kind of slingshotted around the moon and came back. Kind of, can we make it there and back, kind of test runs. But I also get that it's really important that we understand that we only get to see one side of it, and only a few astronauts have seen the back side of it. And then you're also kind of like, when you do, kind of the sun is blocked because of the moon, but it also gives you a view out into the universe and kind of like what else is going on, because there's so much light pollution. I know we deal with that a lot, trying to look at meteors or other planets' connections. Whenever there's a lot of light around, it makes it more difficult. This is our last one, balance. It is a balancing act of, most governments play with kind of like, what can we let out and what should we hold back. And I know all of us usually want to like hear the whole story and kind of like find out everything that was there or whatever that we need to figure out for this. But it's also important that we understand that it's kind of like their job to keep us protected. I think when we are not feeling protected or not feeling great support from our government, that's when we're kind of like, I don't trust you, and I don't trust you to keep me protected as well. And so that's something to kind of keep in our minds as we go through this. It's one of those, we've had many presidents since they actually first walked on the moon. In 1969, and some presidents we really care for, and some of them we really don't, and some people really care for ones over the others. And I'm not getting to that, but what I'm saying is, like, when you feel comfortable with who's in the White House and who's leading the government, I think it makes us feel a little bit more calm, cool, and relaxed about what's going on in the world. I thank you so much for joining me today. If you have a question about this, please make sure you like, comment, and share, and I will be getting back to you really soon. Have an amazing day.